everybody? This is Edward Anderson back with another video. You know, anyway, um, y'all see the title, so y'all come in here real quick. This is something I want to do a stream on. I might reach out to Bernard because I would very much so like to. I think his platform will be good with this. I think Kevin Samuel's platform will be good with this. Because I know Bernard said he doesn't like to talk about colorism straight up, and this is kind of what it is. So anyway, or I'll probably end up doing a stream with it myself, especially now that I know how to host the phone and stuff like that. Now I'll make it so I can get more folks on StreamYard. But right now I don't need to do that yet because I don't even do panels like that. But I definitely am going to go in that direction, trying to resource up like what my streams are going to be, because I'm going to start doing uploads a lot more as well. What is up, Marcus? Shout out to Marcus A. Brown. Got into the service right at the last minute. So yeah, anyway, this crazy shit. But anyway, I got some stuff to get off my chest real quick. So shout out to Bernard. Hell, shout out to Donovan Sharp. He's still going strong, man. I gotta say, between Kevin Samuels and Donovan fucking Sharp, man, I remember when they shut Donovan Sharp's channel the fuck down. And Donovan, and not that he needed to ask, but O'Shea was like, go ahead, because Donovan Sharp was a part of the pill. It was like, let's go ahead and get him to 1,000, because he had to get to it real quick in order to get the super chats and stuff back up. And it's good to see Donovan at that level, because Donovan definitely has a very diverse audience. Donovan definitely serves as like an ambassador, and I like those types of brothers. But you need brothers like O'Shea as well to keep it real for the brothers, but you also need those ambassador types as well. Hell, I went to Donovan's shit, and I was about to, obviously do my support. But shit, you got to be a member just to chat. He had it in member only mode. I'm like, this motherfucker. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin doesn't do that sooner or later. Because, I mean, sometimes, that's a good way of actually minimizing the chat. Because, if you got, like, once you get over, like, 1,500 people, I would imagine, because I haven't done that myself, the chats start to zoom. That's another thing, too. It's not easy. Even if you're in the geekdom community, if you're in the general market, things that are not going to be as tight knit, it is not easy to get over 1,000 viewers at one time. So if you can kind of consistently achieve that, let alone what they're doing, which they're doing double that. Donovan Sharp was at 2.4, was at 2,400 people at one point. That's a lot. You got to remember that it's like what, 3 o'clock. I mean, a lot of people at work, and I know it's COVID, but still, that's very impressive, and that's only going to go up. So shout out to them. Like to see that. So that is what it is. But anyway, he kind of inspired this, and this is something I've been thinking about even before. And this is this idea of pretty girl privilege, pretty privilege, or pretty girl privilege. Now, if you actually search this in YouTube, you won't really find a lot of videos on it. It's like a podcast called the Pretty Girl Privilege Podcast. But other than that, that's really just a title. It really doesn't explain what it is. There's a couple of things that kind of allude to it and talk about it, but it's not something where it's like going to be a whole bunch of videos about it. And this is something that needs to be introduced into the manosphere lexicon, because we all know that when women are talking about colorism, what they're essentially talking about are the top 15 or 20 or really 10% of dudes that have the looks as well as the money. Basic, or a combination of both, or they have one in spades or another in spades. Because here's the thing, if you got, let's say, north of 6 figures, if you're a dude that you have like really 80,000 or more, at that point you have disposable income. That I'm not gonna say it's like a huge lifestyle, but that's a come up. You're in what I call come up mode. Now, obviously, if you're on the coast, that's different. If you're in California, or it's different if you're on the coast, northeast or the coast. That number needs to go up. But if you're in the South with 80,000 or 70,000, you have disposable money. Really, if you're in the South with 60,000, you have disposable money. Cost of living is not that big here, even though it's rising. It's you got disposable money. You could have one of the best townhouses out here. You got a spot, right? And that's assuming you're aiming high on a lot of stuff. But anyway, we always talk, oh, it's an ugly girl argument. But really, it is an ugly girl argument. But pretty privilege is something that needs to be discussed. Because the truth is, when women try to talk about colorism, they'll try to talk about colorism from the standpoint of, racism. And they really hide the shallow nature of what they're really talking about. What they're essentially are talking about is pretty girl privilege. And they feel like they are owed pretty girl privilege. Shout out to Marcus with the $10 super chat. Much appreciated. And pretty girl privilege is pretty much the idea that your looks alone, it's not even about looks. It can be looks, but your sexuality, usually associated with a beautiful woman, is able to basically pull like gravity, like wealth, attention, and all the little things that women in a very narcissistic, Western, shallow world covet. And it's interesting because even though all the women on, like, for instance, OnlyFans is not pretty, it's more sexual, you still see that there's actually a tangible economical value exchange market in a very real sense of what that can get. Now, usually it's not that direct, but it can be direct. This is why when dudes are talking about dates, when they're talking about, all these things, it's like, I'm a big fan of Freakonomics. I'm a big fan of economics applied in things people don't think about or really don't even know it applies to their daily life. And when you look at the economics of dating, the economics of mating, the economics of marriage, the economics of just interacting with women in a romantic way, whether it's sexual access, there's a lot of things like that people don't pay attention to. We always talk about the money. Shout out to Ramil. He did a thing called desire versus a tricking. Which one is better? Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. But the reality of the situation is, in the black community, black men don't value their time. They believe their time is an infinite resource. Versus we have a very abundance mindset on time. We're very poverty conscious on economics. This is why you hear so many dudes talk about self-improvement. They talk about game because they think niggas are just not doing shit to where they just have, first of all, money for some reason is not seen as self-improvement. That's just because so they're not really talking about when they're talking about self-improvement. What they're essentially talking about is you being a superhero nigga. Basically, a woman just can't help but just fall to your god manhood. Now, what's interesting about that is, although all men talk about being healthy, being fit you can be, and black men are probably known for being the biggest and strongest as far as genetically on the law averages. Obviously, black men have health issues that we need to address. But as far as in their prime dating ages, we have that stereotype. Yet black men, it's like they don't focus on anything else. And yet, can you honestly say that black men on the law averages get the best results from women? Obviously, you have white men, but there's also when you look at dudes that are like the elite, yes, a may be fucking you, but at the end of the day, it's not like you niggas are able to get these bitches and give you money and give you everything. At the end of the day, you just represent the bad boy image of what they see on TV, and you get sexual access. And sexual access is not the same for a woman that it is for a man. A lot of black men will, and I'm gonna get to the pretty girl privilege in a minute, but a lot of black men, they really act like if a bitch is fucking them, they can be a homeless nigga. And if enough good looking bitches are fucking them, they will actually say there's nothing wrong with me being homeless. This is the mindset of black men, of too many black men. And they will say, I can be ain't shit, or we can live in a gynocracy, but they're not going to interpret as anything is wrong until the bitches stop fucking. That's how black men interpret that there's a problem, is the bitches just all of a sudden stop fucking. Which I'm not going to say that that's not an issue, but what I'm saying is it's just the mindset is not where it to be. And this is why when you see older dudes and younger dudes, they always default to, I'm getting pussy. At the end of the day, what I would say to older black men, you all don't control shit. And at the end of the day, the younger generations are going to have to fix. You can say, people can say what the fuck they want to, and this is not about me beating up on older dudes at all. But if somebody is like over like 45 and trying to tell, or 50, trying to tell me what pussy they getting, I mean, at the end of the day, as a collective group, and like, I'm not saying that like millennials are gonna do different, but what I'm saying is, motherfuckers say that shit like at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters, and that's not. Because like I said before, you remove all and just make it so all dudes, only dudes are fucking that exist. The black community is the same, if not worse. So this idea that, oh, well, if you just fucking alls will be good, life is about more than that. And obviously we have a biological need to want to fuck. So obviously that's got to be something that's taken care of, just like food, water, and shelter. But at the end of the day, I think black men put a spiritual religiousness, they give it way too much credence to who they are as men at the expense of all other things. Now, there's degrees to that, obviously, but you get what the fuck I'm talking about. So, anyway, with that being said, going back to this pretty girl privilege, it's literally all of the economics, all of the ego, all of the things that a female covets, they have this rank called pretty girl privilege. So when they're talking about Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Rihanna, these celebrities are how they gauge that shit. Because obviously if you're on TV, even if you an ain't shit man, if you on TV, then that means you have this aristocracy, Olympian type of view set to these females, because these females are educated and taught through the television. Even women that are like fucking Vivica Fox, who was on the damn TV, that's 7 years old. She's 55 years old, talking about 50 Cent, who's 42. She's like 16. She's almost a generation older than him. And she's talking about him sounding just like the stupidest shit. But at the end of the day, when these women want to fight against the wall, that's how they interpret it. It's this drop of pretty girl privilege. And this is why you see women trying to talk about 50s, the new 40, 40s, the new 30, 30s, the new 20. And when you really hear these women complain, Paris Milan, Chrissy, all of them, that's essentially what they're really talking about. They're talking about that black men, they really blame it on black men, but what they're essentially talking about is the society is not giving them enough pretty girl privilege. This is their version of white privilege, because they see a lot of biracial, mixed, racially, whatever buzzwords they love to give, racially ambiguous, exotic is what they'll call. This is what they're looking at. And then so when they talk about I'm enough, I'm this, I'm that, this is where the recurring narcissism comes in. It's just like how white men can only view white men that are not in the higher classes. If they start seeing black people do too well, they start losing their shit. Because at the end of the day, it becomes real that they ain't shit and their whiteness doesn't matter. They need to believe that their whiteness makes them better just off that strength. This is actually how a lot of the higher classes control the lower classes in America. This is how you don't have a lot of socialism that you have in Europe. Because Europe, they don't have that problem. Because even though Europe is mixed now, Europe was based on white tones. So they can't apply that rule of, oh, well, you're doing better than another race. They didn't have that. So you didn't have that psychological defect. Remember, the DNA of America is race, class, and gender. So anyway, and you don't really see so much the gender part as far as, men are better than women anymore, because women are used as a buffer class. But it's the same thing with the pretty girl privilege. Women have to believe that no matter what, their looks will always take care of them. And it's so damaging to most females to not believe that they won't be beautiful forever, that it literally emotionally and psychologically harms them, so they can't really think about it. This is why they create blocks. They make them sound stupid as fuck when they say certain things, because they can't consider certain things, because those will open up other doors that leads to conclusions that they can't fundamentally psychologically handle. Now, what about the women that are not pretty, are not attractive? Well, you really have two camps. You have the women that they develop a hatred, a self-hatred, and they project that self-hatred on the black men, if we're going to talk about black females. And then you have women that they are able to come to a conclusion that they may not be the most beautiful, but they're also not the ugliest, and they work with what they got. They accept what they can get. And when I say accept what they get, I'm saying they maximize what they can get. And then it's kind of like the slow and steady. These are women that typically may not look extremely attractive, but they're married. They're married to dudes that may do a little bit better in what they could get because they were able to understand what they can aim for. Now, a woman will interpret what I'm saying and they'll say, oh, you must not be one of the elite niggas because you're trying to convince me to take less than what I want to take. Look, women can go for what they want to go for. But the problem is they are complaining about the fact that they're writing checks in the form of a dude has to be a certain height, have a certain income, have a certain look. They're writing checks that their looks can't cash. And this is why you see all these females alone. At the end of the day, men can date, on the law averages, men can date down and men can date younger, women can't. And no matter how much feminism tells them this, pretty girl privilege actually is anti-feminist. Because if you're a real feminist and you believe in true equality, then looks shouldn't even play into it. You should actually not want looks to play into it. Because that pretty much says that your value as a woman is based on your looks. And the truth is, you have women that they want to be equal, but they still want the quote unquote pretty girl privilege. The women that are not really attractive, honestly, should want feminism because feminism actually makes it harder to elicit pretty girl privilege. The biggest beneficiaries of Me Too were probably women that did not have the ability to move up just off their looks. Because this is why a lot of women didn't jump on the Me Too train. Because the women that tend to have to work harder would get promoted first because those women, number one, it will create a professional environment and it will actually eliminate a lot of the pretty girl, quote unquote, privilege in corporate America. This is why you didn't see everybody jump on the Me Too train necessarily as with white men. But I want you all to understand that when you hear these women talk about colorism and all these colorism channels, this is what's driving a lot of women to want to listen to it. This is what's driving women. This is why it's so much social media traction and energy for people to pull from while women are able to pull channels very quickly. This is also a big reason as to why a lot of your swirler channels, understand something, white folks are not watching swirler channels. White folks, white men or white women or other demographics are not really interested in a black woman, white man couple channel. That's generally not what that audience is going to be. That audience is for the most part black women. White men are definitely not going to watch it. Not like black men are definitely not going to watch it. Because number one, white men don't really have to covet black women. If they want one, they can just go get one. And this is based on what they say. Even the weirdo ones say that. Cause I'll be talking, I don't be looking at my fucking phone, and then next thing you know, I haven't seen nothing. Anyway, get them likes up, y'all. 96. Get those likes up. Check in with a like. Get those likes up. But yeah, man, this is what they're talking about. Pretty girl privilege. And I'm curious to bring this up in front of some people I know because this is a secret. They want pretty girl privilege. They want the privilege of dudes being able to get the dudes that they want to fuck for free, and then being able to get dudes that they don't want to fuck to still spend money on them. This is why so many women are attracted to OnlyFans. OnlyFans, like if you're willing to hold yourself out, OnlyFans is the easiest way to get monetary access to dudes that you probably never intend to fuck. For the price of a pussy pic, for the price of a tit video, price of a dick rating. Oh my God, like that's what it is. And at the end of the day, once you get past the outrage, because so many dudes are outraged. I've literally seen some white boys on Reddit complain that all the good bitches in porn are on OnlyFans. So they can't stand people that spend money on OnlyFans. It's funny, man. It's fascinating, to me, because it really is. But because there's a lot of money in the dark market like that. If you know how to access it, there is. But that's really what a lot of women want. They want to be women want to a lot of women, and this is an American problem. I don't want to make this like, oh, this is just black women, but this is an American problem. Women want to be worshipped. The narcissism is on 9,000. They want to be worshipped, and this is what pretty girl privilege is. They want to be worshipped by the dudes they don't want, and they want to have direct access to the dudes they do want. This is why you always hear them talk about colorism from the perspective of the celebrity guys, but at the same time, they always want to complain to dudes that they act like they are not sexually attracted to. And I ask myself, why is it did they do this? Well, first of all, because the dudes they want to fuck don't give a fuck about them. And second of all, the dudes that they don't want to fuck, at least they could get some money out of them. And this is a big reason why dudes don't even want to date females like that anymore. It's because there is no good faith. And nobody is saying that if I take a woman out on a date, I need to get sex. That's not what nobody's saying. But at the same time, what dudes are not gonna do is be your food bank, your food credit card when there's other motherfuckers you just clearly fucking. Nobody's gonna wait for you while you're fucking other dudes. That's like that's not gonna happen. And at the end of the day, dudes, hell, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. You might as well spend money on OnlyFans if you're gonna sit there and take a bitch out just for the perception of because let's keep it all the way real. And this has happened to me a couple of times. That's why I'm guarded as to who, if I take somebody out, I make sure I get the sense that they really, like me. It's not something. I'll say it this way, and this is on the men. What a lot of younger dudes have to learn is a woman going out on a date with you don't mean shit. A lot of dudes, until they hit these like barriers, I'm talking about younger dudes, they have this thing, especially if you weren't validated in like high school or something, so you weren't validated early and you still got to kind of work your way up that ladder one way or the other. Dudes actually think, oh, I got a number, that means something. Oh, she gave me a follow, that means something. And what they do is they over-empathize these little gestures that to her ain't a big deal. And if they go on a date, oh, that means something. I went to a date. Because at the end of the day, she can go on a date because she ain't got nothing better to do and be on her phone. And she's not even, and then you looking like a fucking fool, especially for folks that are on Tinder and shit doing that swipe in and swipe out bullshit. The dinner horse shit. And at the end of the day, you have to really assess if a woman really likes you. It's very obvious she likes you. This bullshit about you got to break through her walls and shit. I don't do that shit. I can do it, but it's like, look, if the chemistry isn't there, it's not there. And too many dudes fall into this trap of if I do the friend zone thing, if I give it enough time, if I'm just around her enough, she'll warm up to me. No. That's how you wind up in the friend zone. And I would argue to defend women, most dudes volunteer to go in the friend zone. Ooh, that'd be a great video title. Is the friend zone a voluntary army? And the answer is yes, it is a voluntary army. That'll be another string. But anyway, back to this pretty girl privilege. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about this I want my cake and eat it too sweet spot that they're denied in America. And they feel they project that on the black men and say that's black men's fault. They don't get pretty girl privilege. So when they're talking about your rappers and stuff, they say, oh, you're worshiping the goddess of the light-skinned woman, the exotic woman, the racially ambiguous woman. Let's keep it all the way real. Kim Kardashian did not become who she is because of black men. Nor did Kylie Jenner become who they. Yeah, even though they fuck black men, and I know Cardi B fuck black men's the penis that is a black man did not turn them into billionaires and then bring them to stardom like that. But they always love to talk about. They don't ever give us credit for any of the female rappers we put on. Dudes want, it's as if these women like Nicki Minaj and Sweet Tea and fucking Megan Thee Stallion, whoever these new bitches are, as if they just had to do it on their own on some Harriet Tubman shit. As if black men didn't put them the fuck on. I mean, look at Amber Rose right now. Amber Rose, ain't nobody fucking with her. She fucked up with Kanye. She fucked up with Wiz Khalifa, and that's it. She can't even get no real money out of Wiz Khalifa. That pretty girl, hell, even you could argue technically, even though Black China's not pretty, that's what they mean when they say pretty girl privilege. Rihanna's a big example of pretty girl privilege. And my thing is, once we understand, okay, now we understand what that is, and that colorism shit is a fucking smoke screen. Black men are being racist to black women and all this bullshit, then you see the real face of it. It's that black men are not validating their narcissism gene enough. And this comes back to, it doesn't matter what black men do. You will never do enough because this woman is built to hate you in this society because they're taught to project their self-hatred onto you. They hate themselves, so they hate you. And this is why they're in open rebellion against you as a group. And even individual black men, they may be fucking, but just because a woman is fucking you doesn't mean a woman, you running that female. It doesn't mean that. Hell, the bitches on OnlyFans are fucking some nigga. It doesn't mean nothing. It means it's your turn. And I'm not saying that these dudes need to give a fuck about anything else other than the fact they're hitting. But what I'm saying is dudes will delude themselves into this false sense of control and power just because a bitch is fucking you. And that's how a concubine thinks. It really is. And it doesn't matter what the fuck I say, because at the end of the day, the shit always catches up to these dudes later on. Darwinism will handle that. I hope these dudes win. But Darwinism catches all them niggas. One way or the other, unless you a smart enough dude to not get nobody pregnant, or you know how to get the right women pregnant that will be cooperative, which some dudes are smart enough, but that's not most. Anyway, see what y'all talk about. What's up, Liam? What's up, Luciano? What's up, Craig the Tech Guy? Marcus, again, the super chat. Booty Warrior. Okay, Pitmaster, Lando, Pharaoh, and Antone. He said, let me guess, you only gonna be on for a few minutes. I tend to do my streams about the same amount of time every time, don't I? I tell you, when I actually say that, every time I say that, I only intend to be on for a few minutes. Archer says, Edward, did you see that meme going across Facebook where the black girl said it's a shame and it's sad that black men date only women they're attracted to? No, I haven't seen that, but it definitely sounds like something a sister would think. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, I wish women would be honest and really say they don't really believe that black men deserve to have preferences. I wish a woman would actually be bold enough to just say that shit. Like, one thing I respect about LeVar Ball, you can say what you want about LeVar Ball. You can hate LeVar Ball. A lot of the stuff you would say about LeVar Ball would be right. But at the same time, one thing that I like about LeVar Ball is he is a brother that gives absolutely no fucks. And he had a lot to lose and a lot to gain, but still. Now, what he did may not have been the brightest thing, how he navigated it. Although he had some bright spots, but at the same time, just that boldness, you don't see that anymore. 50 has that. And 50 is not like my favorite person in the world, but I got a lot of respect for how 50 goes about doing stuff because it's not easy when you're a black man because there's a lot of landmines. But, yeah. I mean, black, and this is how you really recognize you're in a fucking gynocracy. You're supposed to know your place and say what the fuck you say. And even the dudes that look good, I mean, you got like Brown that gets a pass, but a lot of these females want Tyrese too. And Tyrese almost got canceled. Women love cancel culture because it allows them to try to it gives them the sense that they can control male behavior. And the reality is you may be able to cancel these celebrities that they depend on your money, but most dudes are not celebrities. And dudes that operate out, even your basketball players don't, even your sports athletes really don't have to give a fuck about what these chicks are saying. And it gives them a sense of control to feed into that narcissism. Ralph Lauren, that is true. A lot of chicks want to be hoes, but see, you got to understand, a lot of women are not taught femininity. So they use over sexualization to make up for that. This is why they identify so much with Cardi B. This is why they identify so much with Cardi B. And if you see some of these chicks coming up, I mean, they just own the whole shit off the gate. That's why BGS is right. Pussy's gonna be. You're gonna have this is what they're gonna do. You're gonna have women that their stock price is gonna be high because they kind of they're kind of like sex symbols. And so the stock price is going to be high, but the majority of women that are not operating within that purview is not going to be that. And say what you want to, motherfuckers don't get tired of all of that fucking plastic surgery shit too. As this trans shit keeps moving forward, motherfuckers are going to get tired of that shit. Motherfuckers are going to stop trusting that shit. Because they're going to be like, I don't know if you a fucking transformer. And you're going to start seeing dudes that really want chicks that are, like, it's one thing to have your chest or something here or there, but like once every chick is looking the same, that image, that look becomes less valuable. And none of these females have truly been able to duplicate like what Kardashian's been able to, didn't even though they're all chasing it. Oh, Archer, I see it. Yeah. Well, the reason why it's hard to get women to cooperate is because a lot of men are not ruthless about maintaining their leverage. Like, when people talk about things like tricking and shit like that, that's not designed for that. That's just the standard operating procedure, how you engage women. It's designed for you to have a foundation in which you can get sexual access whenever you fucking want to. So therefore, the other women that you try to deal with outside of that, and there is something to say that tricking can be a mentality. There is something to that, but I think that's way overblown. I think dudes use that as a way to try to keep dudes in the quote unquote game that power the game so other folks can benefit from the game. I don't think they're 100% honest about that. What's up, Starscream? It's been a second. KD Rage. Yeah, black men put pussy on a pedestal more than any other men. The women, understand something, the women you put on a pedestal, white men don't give a second look. Because these women, because it's not even about the fact that the white man conquers shit or white man's a better man. In the promotion, the white man is seen as the only man that can validate a black woman's femininity. This is why the bar is so much lower for her. I mean, it's very obvious when you see it. There is no real pretty girl privilege. A lot of these chicks really don't feel pretty unless a white man is looking at them. And it's a lot more black women than you would think that operate like that. Afro nuts. Well, my thing is, every man, number one, every dude should protect his health. When it comes to quality of life, every dude should do that. You've never heard anybody in the manosphere argue against self-improvement. Ever. But at the end of the day, man, what you notice is what the dudes do the same shit that black women, black feminists do. Is they'll say men, men, men. So I'm like, okay, which men do you mean? Which men? Men oppress women. And then when you get them talking, they'll be like, well, men take advantage of the patriarchy. Black men take advantage of the patriarchy. And I'm like, so show me where black men benefit in this quote unquote white patriarchy. Show me where black men benefit. Oh, well, men can fuck as many bitches as they want to, but women, they get called a hoe. Really? That's an advantage? They start sounding stupid as fuck when they say that. Because the truth be told, you're talking about social perception. The truth is, there's penalties to that for black men, which is a big reason why black men get shot and killed all the time because of that predatory view that people have of black men. And also, black men suffer from child support more than any group as far as the law averages. So there's cost to all of that. But see, so it's not a privilege. It's not a privilege if you got to pay for it. But see, so when they actually have to apply that to actual logic, they sound stupid as fuck. This is why they always want to, if you notice, Janae did this. If you notice, they always start amplifying their voice. They also start talking real fast. They never want to slow it down and go line by line, logic code by logic code. They always want to act like you don't understand what the fuck they're saying, but they ain't saying shit. But you can't. It's like a fucking fish. It's like you can't quite catch the hook. They never can. Like, oh, this is what I said. I said you could play what the fuck they said word for word, and they'll still say you didn't understand what the fuck they said because their mouth is just an exhaust point. Their mouth an exhaust point for these feelings it's not even logical thoughts, linear thoughts. It's feelings they're having. And in the mouth, it's just like, when a car fucking coughs, they're like, caw, real loud. That's what they're doing. They're having these feelings. And it doesn't make fucking logical sense. They're just processing it through language. So it doesn't make sense. Everything you say never makes sense because you're talking to them from a logical, linear standpoint. And the truth is it doesn't make sense to their feelings. You're not speaking to their feelings. You're speaking to what they actually said. That's when they always say they don't make sense. And you find that the more women that say that all the time, it's that they're never having logical conversations. And a lot of shit they've accepted this because there is no logical foundation that they've actually said. There's no research, there's no back shit, there's nothing they could reference, there's nothing they could show where this is like their center of gravity as to why they thought what they thought. It's just, this is what I believe, therefore is. You might as well be arguing religion with folks. You might as well be arguing religion with folks that never read the Bible at all. They just feel good about the scriptures that some random nigga called a pastor gave them, but they never actually looked at that scripture or read the chapters or understood it. Never took the time to try to understand it. That is true. Their definition of oppression, they always talk about sexual oppression. And I want you to understand, when they're talking about that oppression shit, what they're talking about is they blame black men for not promoting them enough. They blame black men for them not having pretty privilege. They believe that it's black men's responsibility to push them in this society. The truth is, promotion has nothing to do with the women. Promotion is a way to establish value of your women from an art of war standpoint as an asset. This is why you don't see Asian women be promoted. It's not like, even in more patriarchal society like Japan and shit, it's not like Asian women are just being promoted. I mean, the truth is, America is a white country at the end of the day. Yes, it's getting more mixed, but it's white. It's not a black country. Black people are only fucking, at best we're 18%. But really, they say we're 11, 12%. So the reality is, if you really ask yourself how much you see black women in context to what our actual percentage of a percentage is, the black women are actually over promoted. The problem is and even Latin women will complain about this. Not to say I'm on a Latin bitch's side, but they're starting to talk about that shit more. They're starting to say, y'all don't have the numbers to be seen like you are. The problem is black women actually overbuy ads and stuff that are so much for their shows because they need that attention so much that it doesn't make financial sense to promote it. But if that ever started to drop the fuck off, you wouldn't see it anymore. Like if you actually look at Latin Americans in like Latin America compared to the percentage of black people that's actually there, they're virtually non-existent. So when you actually cross compare a lot of this shit, you know, there's a reason why a lot of folks like to come to America and Europe because they're not promoted like that. But see, but women, but again, because they have something in themselves that they hate, they can never see what they have. They can only look at what they don't have. Yeah, what I'm gonna start doing to Clan Killer is I'm gonna start posting my streams on Twitter. I'm gonna start like I gotta start pushing some of y'all on some of my other social media, start getting that built up. Also, what I might do is make a Telegram, another Telegram where you all can follow me there, and that way, you know, you all can get the notifications. No, well, first of all, they're not gonna call the police on a white man, Clan Killers, because number one, a white man ain't necessarily gonna do shit as far as the cops. They know that, and now you got to deal with the fallout. That's the reason you don't even see white women really pull the cops on them. They know even if the cop does shit, they getting out because their road in the justice system is not the same as ours. So that's a calculation that folks have to make. Then you got to deal with them once they get back. No, yeah, you right, Starscream, and there's a thing. Somebody shared it on Facebook where she was crying. That was a while ago. That's where that meme comes from. I mean, at the end of the day, Carizen. I mean, all you got to do is really go at Carizen, is really make Carizen. Okay, show me the results. Where are these channels of these couples that were created, you know, from Crystal and Carizen? Crystal and Carizen. The truth is, I'll say this to be fair. The truth is, if you ask the question, does Carizen know how to does Carizen know how to set a black woman up to be able to get a white man? I would actually tell you she does. I would actually tell you Carizen does. The problem, though, is Carizen is the same problem that Rebecca Lynn Pope ran into. And Carizen's done this. When you tell these chicks some real shit, because you're gonna have to check that black attitude, is what she would say. There's a lot of things you're gonna have to fucking check. And unless you're a real swirl, I'm talking about real swirlers that do it, they know how to check that shit. They know how to code switch. Like for real code. And to be fair, Eve was able to do it. If Eve, I'm not gonna say if Eve could do it, anybody can. But Eve is like a quintessential representation of a black female. Oh, she's light skinned, whatever. At the end of the day, culturally and mentally, she was a quintessential black woman. So if Eve can do it, then that should show you right there. There's a path for any black woman, even if your culture mindset. But the problem is these chicks can't do that. A lot of these chicks can't really check that long. They're not gonna do it. And another thing is, if you go after white dudes, you're gonna have to really understand rejection, because these motherfuckers don't give a fuck, because they're not gonna be thirsty over you. And if you and to be fair, just to take black women off of it, like when there's studies that when white women go to Asia, they don't do well. Like particularly Japan or Korea, it does not work, because Asians, contrary to popular belief, Asians really ain't hung up on white bitches like that. Particularly Japanese and Koreans. They really don't care. Not like folks will believe. So when white women come out of an environment that validates them, white women shrivel up as well. So this is not me saying, oh, this is just unique black female shit. It's just white women are in very few environments where that's not true. But at the end of the day, that's not black men's fault, and that's not black men's responsibility. Especially once black women have basically played the I'm independent, I don't need no man card. Marcus says, I'm not elite, but I still see chicks fawning over guys that far less established, goal-oriented than me. I guess it's because I don't have enough game. Just wait until I pop out with Becky though. I mean, at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, again, when we talk about these conversations, we're talking about exclusively sisters. I mean, once you start expanding the market, even with other versions of forms of black women, it changes the game because again, where you're playing on their court. Once you start changing up the court, then that's when they start complaining because you're diluting pretty girl privilege. And at the end of the day, it's not a black man's responsibility to give a fuck about black women and their pretty girl privilege. That's not our problem. That's a personal problem. Black empowerment does not include pretty girl privilege. Well, cares and yeah, she's a one pony, but that shows you the strength of swirling. You don't. I don't care what you say. You don't have a whole bunch of channels that black men have just completely boosted this off of black men dating non-black women. But you do have the reverse. You can't just, like it ain't a whole bunch of Philco versus the worlds and folks like that. It's just not. Yep, you Marcus, you absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Marcus. And the thing it is when selling sex is legal, but buying sex is illegal. And at the end of the day, dudes are gonna like cause understand something about OnlyFans. What's gonna happen is it's gonna get harder and harder for women to do that because number one, it's gonna be saturated, and number two, that market is gonna get smarter. Like, see, this is what's going on right now. What's going on right now is you got a whole bunch of goofy ass dudes that they're just throwing money at a market. Once that market gets more tuned up, what's gonna happen is the platforms, OnlyFans, they're gonna benefit the women that bring in the most revenue, just like how it is with YouTube and how it is with Instagram, with like who gets the attention. And a lot of women are gonna have to work a lot harder, and they're gonna have to do shit because number one, dudes are not gonna be spending the same kind of money. But number two, dudes are going to be smarter about it. Like what you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see kind of a Napster effect where motherfuckers are going to start using Discord and Reddit, and they're going to start fucking taking motherfuckers' content. And they'll start screenshotting that shit, screen recording that shit, re-uploading it. Some of them be reselling it and repackaging it. It's going to be harder for these chicks to get money like that. It ain't going to be as readily available, just like with Instagram. It used to be very easy to build an Instagram profile and Instagram channel for certain women. Now that shit is not guaranteed. It's not. You got to put more money in it than you used to have to do before. So that shit will saturate. That shit will saturate. And you'll see some women, just like how you see with YouTube, you'll see some people that really benefit, and you'll see others that they don't. Even up from the women that really benefit, women, they're spending all their shit on lifestyle. I'm not even gonna repeat that start screen. Um, no, I'm not gonna disrespect. Like, understand something. A lot of them. Look, I'm not gonna. Now, I'm not taking them seriously either. But I'm not on this. Oh, you got an OnlyFans page. Like, you're the scum of the earth. Maybe that's the libertarian in me. That is true, Wayman. Like, you gotta qualify yourself for a woman's company. Bullshit. Your job as a man is you're supposed to put yourself in a position where women are competing for your favor. And at the end of the day, if you're dealing with women that they're poverty stricken, that's another thing in the black community. Even Jason Black talked about this a long time ago. A lot. First of all, most of these chicks don't. This is the one thing you got to believe about a lot of sisters. Even women that are like 8 to 9, they are not coming across a whole bunch of ballers. They're not. This idea that they're just surrounded by them to make 6 figures and more, that's not true. That's not true. That don't let them believe that. A lot of these chicks are not around because I promise you, if they are really surrounded by dudes like that, I'm sure they're trying to pick one off. At least it could be a temporary sugar. They are not around motherfuckers like that. Do not have you believe that they are. Do not have you believe that they are. not like how they would think. A lot of these women are really dealing with dudes that may have some social status, but their money ain't as long as what they like to act like it is. Do not have you believe that, and a lot of them are really just poverty stricken, where they don't even go for the money because they don't believe they can get the money. Well, I mean, pretty girl. Understand something about pretty girl privilege is this is a big reason why you have women that try to shame black men in the United States of America for for dating young women. And this is why when dudes actually try to buy into that, like when you hear dudes actually trying to buy into that shit, that is some of the most gynocentric shit a dude can ever do. It really is. It's because they are literally trying to protect what they perceive as normal when that's not normal. The truth is, most dudes shouldn't even be marrying a female that's within. Honestly, most dating coaches and the social science says you shouldn't be marrying anybody that's like within 5 years of your age. As far as like, they should be more than 5 years old, 5 years younger than you. And you damn sure shouldn't marry no female that's older than you. Because at the end of the day, women age differently, and they age a lot more rapidly than what dudes do. It doesn't matter how they keep themselves up. None of that matters. So all that bullshit is bullshit. Carmelo Anthony, Lala is 5 years older than Carmelo Anthony. Eventually, that was going to be a problem. Usher marrying bitches that are 10 years older than him. No, it doesn't matter what they do. And we say this like most of them are keeping their body up, which we know they're not. That's insane. And you really only see black men doing that. Other groups kind of do, but you only see brothers doing that. Exactly, Marcus. I'm not going on dates that we got to pay for unless we already fuck. And somebody say, oh, that's because you cheat. No, it's because I ain't got time. Understand something. I can take for every chick I can take on a date, I can take multiple females on a business lunch that actually can probably make me some money. I'd rather go to a business lunch and go to a new place. We had a conversation where I actually know the bitch is going to engage with what the fuck I'm saying than fucking take a bitch out on some pretty girl privilege bullshit. Now, if we fucking, I can be very liberal with my money. Not really, but kind of. Because at the end of the day, we've already crossed that bridge. Yeah, her name's Sweetie. She has this red dress, light-skinned chick. She's pretty attractive. I don't know her music. Vote Forth Your Feet said there hasn't been a black woman in rap who wasn't put on by a black man. You can't even say R&B if you want to go that far. You absolutely right. It ain't these white dudes finding these folks. It ain't. It's black men putting women on. And I'm going to tell you something. Black men in entertainment do not get nearly enough credit for what we do with black women. Even in Hollywood, the black directors, when we do get some shit, we always putting black women on. You talk about a fucking rap video? Oh, well, it's not enough women in a rap video shaking their ass. Then you got a bitch like Janelle Monáe, which if they make her storm, I swear to fucking God, like I told you, Janae got that it factor, but Janae, like, man, nah, anybody but that bitch. Fuck that bitch. For real. Because Janae, I get tired and see more dudes need to start checking her ass to her face. Well, Amber Rose, like, again, Amber Rose, like, you could see Amber Rose is going to wind up that way. So, I mean, again, women, and that's another thing I'm going to tell you, too. The difference between the generations before and, like, really the end of the Xer, but really the millennial generation, is women don't base their value on men they can keep. They really base their value on body count. They base their value on this. They look at sexuality from a masculine perspective. So what they're doing is they're actually looking at how dudes approach them, like how they would deal with like a woman. It's weird. So this is why you have this horror culture where you actually got women actually talking like, and it doesn't look stupid until you look at Vivica Fox, Lisa Ray, and you look like at the end of the day you're alone. You can say what you want about Camille Cosby or say what you want to about like other women. You ain't got nobody, and it's not about what society thinks of you. At the end of the day, you know you ain't happy. That's why you always talking shit about 50. That shit look goofy as fuck when 50 was like 23, 24. No, when 50, because Vivica was like in her early 40s then, and that shit looked stupid. But what it was 50, Vivica had that look back in the day, Independence Day, and 50, and Vivica's a very attractive woman, but she's a very attainable woman. Vivica Fox is not an intimidating woman beauty-wise. She has the look, she had the body, but she knows how to put the smile on. But see, she a hood bitch, and same thing with Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray, not as much as far as being able to put the face on. But Lisa Ray, she was very she was very attractive and approachable as far as what you think based on it. Look, they don't have that intimidating beauty. They don't. But at the end of the day, Vivica was already 50, and Vivica was never gonna work. That was never gonna work because 50 was way too younger, and 50 was not a type of dude. 50 was never gonna be Ashton Kutcher, and Vivica was insane to even believe that. So she has this it's been 17 years. She's still talking shit about 50 Cent. That shit's crazy when you think about it. And the thing about it is, you don't have none of these females talk about you making all of us look bad with that goofy shit. Because Lisa Ray did it before. Lisa Ray did it before with the motherfuckers she dealt with. Because it can't never be their fault. And all of them on there looking goofy as fuck. Claudia Jordan. She's not light skinned. She's Claudia Jordan's, but it's like she got all her mom's genes as far as hitting the wall. Appreciate the super chats, y'all. Trying to find where these super chats are at. Look at Nicki Minaj now. Look at how much Nicki Minaj was like the #1 female rapper for 10 years, and she harnessed all of that energy. And look at how she got to hold herself out. Look at that trolls. I mean, hey, it looks good. Nicki, but if you notice, Nick, like it looks good. Now, I ain't gonna lie. But at the end of the day, I mean, it ain't like that. It ain't like somebody like Nas. Nas was gonna be the best you was ever gonna get. And look at who you with now. So at the end of the day, I mean, people can covet that, but that ain't gonna make me buy your album. All that work, and at the end of the day, the best you can do is the motherfucker you with. Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland's very beautiful. Best she could do. Oh no, it ain't gonna get past an hour and 10 minutes. He said long wind style. What up, Eric? How you been, bro? What up, Edward? How you doing, bro? Keep making a lot of points. Keep it up, brother. Appreciate that, Daniel. And all the super chats are definitely appreciated. I actually cashed my first YouTube check the other day. That was interesting. Went through the AdSense and everything. That went right to my child support. Now I'm playing. I ain't got child support. Be funny, niggas paying their child support with super chats. That'd be. Pontiac Trans is wilding out without Nick Cannon. I have to take a look at that. But here's the funny thing. A lot of wilding out girls on Nick Cannon shit. A couple of them got OnlyFans. A couple of them do. Like these hoes, like they don't care. Like that stuff is starting to merge. You're starting to not see any degrees anymore. And women don't understand long term that ain't doing nothing, because you ain't even see dudes really start the pipeline overseas like that, because the dudes that are going to go overseas are typically going to be dudes that have more money anyway, so it's going to be doing something different. Also, I got to say this, another video I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it now, is this myth of the rich incel, the myth of somebody that's making like 80,000 or more, but they just can't get a bitch, or they can't get quote unquote the women they want. First of all, dudes don't have the same like standard threshold that women have. Dudes are not on here saying, if I can't get a 10, 9, and 8, I'm done. Most dudes be like, bitch got a fat ass and she know how to shut the fuck up, I'm good. And she ain't horrific in the face, I'm good. Or whatever their one or two preferences is. Outside of that, dudes, because sexual access is what dudes want. See, when you hear these females always talk about all the shit they need, you can tell that they don't have an issue with getting dick. But see, women are not supposed to have an issue with getting dick, because all they got to do is like a store saying, I don't have a problem selling my products if I'm giving them away for free. That's literally how women are with sex, but they actually think that means something. Oh, well, I've had sex more than dudes. Well, dudes have to get a woman's permission to fuck. Dudes are a lot more hornier, all that shit. You know, it's not the same shit. Now, if you start talking about a woman and her ability to keep a man, now that's equivalent to a man getting sex from a woman. And now what do you find out? You find that most of these chicks can't keep a man worth a damn. They all want to tell you they're alone by choice. None of them are alone by choice. And I got to redefine my Twitter. I'll start putting it up. Yeah, she still got a channel. Shout out to Rico Rogers. Edward speaking facts. The colorism claim is them being mad they can't get the guys they want. Absolutely. And this is why fucking SWP uses that shit's an ugly girl argument. And it is. It is an ugly girl argument. It's not saying that you're ugly. It's saying that you can't write checks that the dudes you want. Your looks can't cash the checks of the dudes that you want. That's all that is. It doesn't mean you're ugly. It means maybe you're a 7 trying to go for a 10 dude. The problem is with dudes that are like 8, 9s, and 10s, with as far as money, financial currency, dick currency, social status, all these females are going for them. And not just the women that can get that dude, but also the women that can't. They all doing it. So dude, there ain't enough bitches for these dudes to fuck. To the point where a lot of dudes will get the overflow. And the truth be told, a lot of these chicks think they look good. I'm like, these dudes, like dudes, women don't even rank dudes like dudes rank women. It's not the same thing. Okay, you got to be Serena Williams to get a white man. And technically, Serena Williams, that dude is Armenian. And people love to try to say that's white. That is not Euro. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Like, if y'all go say that, then all the Arab countries are white. No, there is German, Anglo-Saxon, which is British, German, Gaul. Then you got the Scandinavians. Those are what I consider white. You got the Eastern folks like the Slavs, which are the Czechs, the Ukrainians, the Russians. And then you got like these kind of subgroups, which are like, Italians are kind of in the middle. Spanish is in the middle. Portuguese is like in the middle, but they're considered more white. And then Armenians are kind of like below that, but they're more considered Middle Eastern. They're not really considered white. If you would have had a Crusades, they would be on the Muslim side, not the white side. So folks, forget that. Phoebes, you say Karazin's not still married. I can't believe that's true. The Manosphere would have had an anniversary over that shit. That would have been the talk of the week. Yeah, Ed the beefsteak. Yeah, the white boys in Reddit, they don't give a fuck. They really don't care. That's another thing. It ain't as much Keith Wisdom. Shout out to you. It ain't as many ballers as it used to either. And it ain't like these women got, even if it is, these women ain't got the same kind of access to these baller dudes like that. Because they not able to go out like that. And a lot of these dudes are ballers by parties. Gotta remember too, a lot of these females can't get that club money. Remember that club money where you would go and you bring in the hoes, was bring in the dudes, would spend the liquor. You can't do that anymore. So a lot of pretty girl privilege monetizations is not there. Strip clubs are not there. This is why you see these motherfuckers creating OnlyFans. And this stuff opens back up. It depends on how long the stuff is. But yeah. And the thing about the cam shit is the cam shit, you have to be there. Only like so you have to actually be on. It's different. Look, man, like I said, I'm not somebody that's a game advocate or student of the game. I'm just an observer. I'm the type of person, I'll show you who knows what the fuck they talking about, what I've seen, it works. And I'm all about disseminating information, because disseminating information is how men win at the end of the day. Sup, Roger Report. If a woman is on OnlyFans, I doubt her first time selling pussy. A woman needs to simply get over the fact that not every one of them is a 10. They better learn to accept the real S&V. The truth be told is, if we're going to be honest about the economics of OnlyFans and stuff like that, I would imagine if you're a female that you strip, like getting on social media and doing that shit online in the private of your own home, a home that you may own and control, that's going to be a lot better than necessarily having to get in front of motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I imagine that shit goes a lot easier on a female psyche. So I can see why a lot of women draw to it. And especially as women start to see it ain't hard. The shit that they're doing on their phones is all you got to do. That's why OnlyFans, I think, took off. Because the cam shit, you got to kind of understand at least the definition of a camera. It's certain couple of technical things you really want to have to do that. Versus with OnlyFans, is very like stupid proof. Yeah, she did ruin herself with that surgery. Nicki Minaj got a molested husband. He can't pick up their child from school. Absolutely. And that's a choice she made. That tells you everything you need to know about a female's values, affection. And people can play that because she went with what she was comfortable bullshit. There's better dudes within what she's comfortable. She went with what she can control. Dudes that would be black incel just fuck fat bitches. Well, you don't gotta play the right role to have a man. Nikki, let's keep it all the way real. Let's keep it all the way real. When you look at who the ended up with now, she might as well just stay with fucking Safari and work something out with Safari. Because at least at the end of the day, Safari was loyal and he was helping her put together most of that damn music. Let's keep it all the way 100. Safari was getting a lot more shit done than the motherfucker she with now. Let's keep that all the way real. She might just stuck with Safari. And then she might as well just stick with Safari and said, look, don't be out here in these streets embarrassing me because I got a rep. Understand you gonna get some pussy every once in a while and understand I'm gonna be fucking. She was with long enough to where that shit would have made sense. Cause at least she knew what the fuck he was with. You might as well got with Safari. And quite frankly, Safari, I think Nicki would have been a little bit more respectable. That would have been a lot more respectable. Nicki is that boss bitch. No, she's not. No, she's not. Nicki like to think like she likes to think like she can put shit together on her own, but no. Even like shout out to Mary J. Blige, but even Mary J. Blige had her husband to put a lot of that shit together when she went on her own, and that's why he wanted a lot of money when he got the divorce. And Mary J. Blige, I would say, is like one of the closest to actually really doing it on her own, because at the end of the day, Mary May had the intuition to not fuck with Diddy early on. Nicki's not a good role model. And when you say role model, I mean, even based on what women like to say they want, I mean, Nicki, think about it. Nicki's been in the game for like what? She was in the game like before Drake, right? So she was in the game, what, 2009? Like, I remember dudes be like, I have her baby. This bitch, people, I heard too many couple of these, I have her baby. Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? And I look, that's all. She alright. But damn, like y'all niggas act like y'all gonna drink her piss or something. And then I'm like, okay. And then, you know, I like some of her songs. I mean, she can talk. I mean, she can actually put music together. Even though in her albums, you know, then she went pop. But truth is, nigga been in the game, what, 11 years? And at the end of the day, she got to do that shit. And here's what's crazy. Somebody can say, oh, well, you just hate. Nigga, I'm like, bitch, if you gonna do that, then do it on your own shit. Why did you get on Snitch 9 shit and blow his shit up? Now, let's be real. Nicki, at the end of the day, Nicki Minaj's bread and butter has always been in her features, because her features have always been stronger than her actual albums. That just is what it is. But if you gonna do all of that, I mean, if you gonna put it out there like that, because there's folks I done seen it, folks are just cutting out the whole video and just doing gifs of that. If that shit was on Tumblr, that troll shit would be everywhere. That shit would almost be, I won't say like the crying Jordan, but you gotta really think about it. So I'm like, if you gonna do all of that, then you might as well get some direct money. I mean, I'm sure she got like 100. I don't think she's commanding the same kind of money she used to command, because there's other options. You got Cardi B, you got other options for that. But you get of anybody you got on 6ix9ine shit, which kind of shows me that she's desperate for dealing with somebody people still fuck with. And she just wanted an instant hit. I mean, shit, you gonna do all of that, you might as well got a Chris Brown song or something. Like, what the fuck? And you north for 10 years in the game and you doing that. Like, you really got to like, if you were going to do that then, you should have been did that. It's like these white bitches that, you know, they get stuck up, and then, you know, it used to be a gag to where, you know, when they start fucking black men and porn, you know, they on their way out. That's basically what Nicki's doing. And people will say, yeah, Nicki's done shit in the past. I remember the one about Baby Got Back that she did. But at the end of the day, that's her go-to, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. And here's the thing, Janelle Monáe will try to blame hip-hop, saying hip-hop inside. Nobody made Nicki do that shit. Nobody makes Cardi do that shit. It's not hip-hop. Men do not drive hip-hop. Women do, as far as the audience. And Janelle Monáe knows that. Yeah, she did. At the end of the day, Nicki made her ass a little bit too big, because she's not tall enough for that to work. And a lot of these women, they overdo it. They really do. They overdo it. And to be fair, Latin women, there's Latin, especially out overseas, that'll overdo it too. Less is more. But then again, a lot of these chicks are competing with other women, and that's why they do that bigger is better bullshit. That's another thing is black men can always trick. So I mean, true forced loneliness. You to be truly forced and alone, you got to say, I'm not willing to trick. I'm not willing to do shit. Part of being an incel is what you choose not to do to get sexual access. And the issue, the thing I find with that is, it's like, okay, you're making sex out to be something that it doesn't need to be. You're making sex define who the fuck you are. And that's where a lot of dudes are messing up. And that's really what the system wants you to be. I don't know what that means with that culture vulture thing. All right, y'all, man. I appreciate it. Young Jay says Gucci actually put Nicki on. She was with Gucci before she blew up. Okay. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that bullshit about we don't do enough for our women, we do what the fuck we can. And I really get tired of that. And I get tired of dudes not pushing back against that either. Too many dudes let these chicks say shit. They'll say shit in return. But anyway, y'all, I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats as well. And with that being said, like I said, I might have did, we'll see what we're going to do in the future when it comes to these streams. But with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.